Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Paul from the Money Mob. This is the Money Mob Black Business podcast. I pray you all are well. I pray you all are fine. For those of you who are not aware of what the Money Mob is all about, Money Mob is a crowdfunding, crowd purchase movement that uses group economics to support Black business. One of our main claims to fame is the actual Money Mob itself, where we actually target businesses, and if you pass the criteria and a day and time, we will come down and mob your business. Each person who comes down to mob your business have to spend no less than £10 per person. That could be, and it could be 10 people, it could be 110 people, but that way, as I said, we keep the finances direct to your business, as well as we now bringing attention to your business, because as I said, we use social media, we use radio, TV, YouTube, what have you, to make sure people know exactly what you're about, what your brand is about, and who you are. So that's what the Money Mob is. As I said, we have a weekly podcast. Used to have a weekly radio program, but as I said, you can listen to all of that on our Mixcloud in regards to our shows. So look, I am actually placed, and I'm doing the podcast from Impact Brixton. And Impact Brixton is a Black-owned, conscious-driven co-working space based in the heart of Brixton. It's a space that offers a register address. If you want to actually register your business, this is the place for you. You can also use this space for hot desking, events, as well as a meeting room. We have podcasting areas, of which, as I said, I am actually placed, and a lot more. One of the things I love about Impact Brixton is that it's their vision. So over the next few years, they aim to support, thousands of people, thousands of businesses, and to realize their passion, and also to impact the broader community. They, through their networking, through free educational programs, as well as their many events. Now, if you are looking for a space, or you're looking to now be a part of the Impact Brixton family, please make sure that you contact them using my details, Paul from the Money Mob, and if you use that, you will get a 20% discount in regards to becoming a member. So with that, I want to introduce you to this young lady. I've been wanting to actually interview her for a long time. For those of you who probably see her via Instagram, in particular, giving daily advice in regards to branding, I wanted to introduce you as our award-winning branding expert, Miss Vee Roberts. Good evening, my sister.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Good. So look, for those who maybe live off the planet and don't know who Vee Roberts is, please introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Vee Roberts, as you said, so thank you for the introduction. I'm a branding and marketing consultant and coach. I'm a self-published author. I'm a trainer, and I'm also a fellow of the RSA, and also a mentor for NatWest Bank, Virgin Business Startup, and the Cherry Blair Foundation.
Wow. As I said, I have a very good feeling. I know this is going to be a good one. I just have a very good feeling about it. The first things first, I got to ask you, and Vee, we're still in the pandemic. We're still in this situation. How has it been for you?
It's been, I would say, a mixture of good and also bad. Bad because I couldn't actually deliver all of the programs that I wanted to, but good because I've actually pivoted that and kind of diversified my offer to actually enable more people to access my services. So it's actually freed me up a little bit, where I'd normally be doing my coaching and my regular kind of intensive mastermind. I put that on pause and actually have been serving more online, as you probably noticed, and doing a lot more of my online courses and also my Q&As, which I actually parked up for a while. So I've brought that back, which has been a really nice feeling. So good because I've been able to kind of still serve, but bad because I haven't been able to do the programs that I actually wanted to do.
No, I hear you. I understand that. So V, one thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, just give us an inspiration. I mean, so give us an idea of a brief idea in regards to your journey, and what was your what was the thing that kind of inspired you to now go on the journey that you're in at the moment?
Well, to be fair, I wasn't really inspired. I was kind of forced into it. I'd been talking about starting my own business for a very long time. I'd been saying, I want to become self-employed, And I'd actually studied at uni back in like 1999. I actually graduated slightly later than I planned because I fell pregnant with my second child, who's now 18, believe it or not. And so I was a teen mum. I'd always been working in employment. And it was when I was made redundant after studying, after qualifying with my degree and everything, I was made redundant. I did a huge project, which I took over to Cannes, big property expo. And when I came back, they said, V, we're going to actually pull you and your team because we're going to be merging together two organizations. And so we're going to give you a nice pay packet and off you go. So I didn't really have any other solution because I was checking for jobs. I was looking to see what was available. And I'd actually had enough, to be fair, of being an employee where I'm working for someone else and, clocking in and clocking out. Every 5 minutes, they want to be asking me to account for where I've been and how I've spent my time. I said, you know what? They can headhunt me all they like on LinkedIn. I'm actually going to do what I've been saying I was going to do and start my business. And so I had actually spent quite a lot of my nice pay packet that they'd given me, that redundancy packet, and I decided that I was going to start up. But guess what? I only started up with £100 because I'd foolishly spent that money. I didn't even invest it anywhere, right? I will confess, because it's what a lot of us do. I wasn't really financially aware at that time. And so I spent that money off. I paid off bills. I went on a few holidays. I bought a few weaves. And now I'm in the position where, looking back, I can say to anyone who's going to start a business, if you have funds, don't just squander them off. Think strategically about where you want to be, especially if it's that you've been given a redundancy pay packet. Think about what you want to do, because I wasn't really thinking like that. It was only when I realized I can't work for anyone else and I had £100 left. I said, you know what, I'm going to build a website and see what happens. The rest is history.
Wow. Okay. So, V, and when did you actually create your business, create your brand? What day?
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I had actually already had this idea about insights and marketing. My logo had been flying around from like 2011. It was only when I actually registered it and decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. That's when I became a more out there brand, because prior to that, even when I'd been made redundant, I was successful in winning contracts with some very well-known national charities and also the NHS. I worked for them self-employed as a contractor, and I did quite a lot of work. I was always busy with agency work, which, as you probably know, pays very well. And then I decided, you know what, I don't like the idea of working for an agency. I'm going to register my business and start this thing up. So in 2013, that's when I decided to register. And it was actually the 18th of January in 2013. So right now I'm obviously 7+ years in. And it's been a really interesting journey. It really has, Paul.
Fantastic. So look, give me an idea. I mean, insight to marketing. What is your philosophy in regards to, what you do and your brand?
Well, I've always been about, from day one, even when I was an employee, serving people. So even as an employee working for an employer, for example, BT, and, I've worked with TNT Courier, I've worked with Barclays. I've always been that person who, within a team, when everyone's saying, oh, don't do that, that's not your job, I'd always be that person still serving so that everyone can pull together and actually get win-win for everyone, right? I'm not someone who's like precious about who's done what. I like to be accountable. I like to be a team player, and I also like to serve so everyone's happy. So I've kind of carried those values over into my work as running my own business, being the boss of my own business. So I'm very much about me helping you, win-win. If I collaborate with you, it's got to be a win-win. It's about clarity. It's about serving. It's about educating, and it's also about making sure that we're on the same path. We're aligned with what we're doing together as brands. So if I work with a brand, I'm not just going to take someone's money. I need to understand the rationale behind their thinking. I need to understand where they're coming from, because a lot of people will run to collaborate with other brands just because there might be money in it or because they can access grant funding. I've never been about that. I have to understand where a brand is from and align with them. And even clients, I turn away business from clients that I don't feel are a good fit for my brand and where I'm coming from. And that basically is a very straightforward, uncomplicated background. So even though there's textbooks out there with the jargon, I just give it to you black and white. And also, I'm not someone who fluffs up anything or nices up anything. If you come to me with an idea and I don't genuinely feel it can work, or you come to me with this big campaign that you want to do and I don't think it's best use of your money, I'm going to break down to you exactly why that is. I'm not going to have you pay me to tell you what you want to hear. So I'm very straightforward. I'm not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. But even a lady that I spoke to today, a new client that I've just brought on, she said, V, I've hired you. Because I said, am I going too fast? Am I being too hard with you? She said, no, you're just what I needed. I needed that kick up my butt to make sure that I can get these deadlines met and start my courses and get my clients. And that is the reputation that I have. I'm very results orientated. I will help you. If you want to do well in your business, I'm going to support you all the way. And that's been me from day one. Even before I started my business, I've always been someone that I support people.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, because as I said, I listen to quite a lot of your posts and blogs, each morning. Probably one of the things that I do whilst I'm having my breakfast. One of the things you also mentioned, you mentioned it just a while ago, is about service and the service experience. I want you to please let our viewers understand how important good service experience really is.
Listen, good question, because for me, the brand experience is everything. And I've got clients that have been with me for years. I mean, some have been with me since 2013. Some have been with me since 2015, and they're not leaving me. That's so they tell me they're not leaving me, because they know when they spend their money with me, they get over and above. One of my clients recently described me as being worth more than my weight in gold, right? And that's a client that I've taken from having hardly any visibility, having clients and sales, but having hardly any visibility before she met me. She's now very well known for her catering and baking company. She's got a very well-established brand. She's very confident when she shows up. She uses video, and she does all the things that I had envisaged her doing when I first spoke to her. And when I first encountered her brand, she didn't really trust me, because what she was saying to me is, well, a lot of people say they can help, but can you really do what you say you can do?
That's right.
And another thing I'm known for is that I speak only on things I can deliver. I haven't got time to be evidencing anything that isn't from me. So because I'm results orientated, everything I say or claim can be backed with results. I'm not someone that tells you textbook style. I can give you legitimate examples and case studies based on work that I've done. And relating to the brand experience, that's what makes me different from other coaches and also gurus out there, because my experience is that when you come to me, it's bespoke to you. I'm not going to sell you the same package or the same solution as I've sold to someone else. Even if it is another hair salon, I'm going to give it to be bespoke to you, right? And so that makes my brand experience quite unique. And also as a coach and consultant, because I actually consult for external companies as well, my experience is very different because it's tailored to that company. So again, a lot of us can buy off the shelf. A lot of us can buy books, self-help books. But when you speak to me and I coach you, even on my live Q&As every Wednesday, it's a different experience, because I will look through who's on the live and I will shout out businesses, and I will make all the examples that I'm giving on that particular live relevant to everybody who's decided to show up, right? So that's how I actually run my business. I'm very bespoke to clients. Let me just very quickly just put my charger in. Give me 1 second.
All right, no problem.
Is that okay?
No, yeah, we
One sec.
Yeah, we can do that.
Don't want to disconnect from you, you see? Okay. So yeah, my experience is very different from others. And that is definitely something that I pride myself in, because I feel like the brand experience is what people buy into. That's actually what separates someone in brand A from someone who might be in brand B. Even if they've got a very similar offer, the experience will be different. How someone makes you feel will be different. How they answer their emails will be different. Their telephone manner will be different, you know? And so brand experience is really key in terms of brand building. It's really important people understand the importance of that. Customer service is also part of that, but the brand experience itself is business critical.
Absolutely. Now, going into another area that I know that, you know, you are key at, is, you know, the idea of now getting people and businesses to know more about, you know, the social media journey and experience, what have you. Again, especially I'm talking about businesses and bricks and mortar businesses. How important is it for those bricks and mortar businesses to engage themselves with social media?
Wow, it's really important. I mean, I always say that social media is one type of tactic you can use to reach your community. Obviously, it's online, so there are many benefits to doing social media because it's online. All you need is a Wi-Fi connection and some decent content to put out there. But it's not for everyone. I've got to be honest. I'd always recommend it to businesses, even if it's just a case of, as I advised another client today, just reserving your name so that if in the future you decide to use it, nobody else has jumped on it. So if you decide to use social media, you know, make sure that you're giving out really good content. It's important to build a community and be consistent. But there are people that actually shouldn't go on social media if they're not ready. And also if they're not clear on what they're going to post, because you're actually doing yourself a disservice by showing up and, you know, posting without caption, targeting everyone. I recently saw a business owner that was running like an admin service, a catering business. She does cakes as well. There was like 4 different businesses that she was promoting on the one Instagram page. And I gave her like a private message and I explained to her, as I often do, how she could improve what she's doing. And this is one of the things I could say as an example of when you really shouldn't be on social media yet, is when you're not clear of what your offers are or what you actually want to do or specialize in as a business. So just to answer your question, yes, I highly recommend that businesses get onto social media, but when you're ready, when you're clear on what your offer is, when you know who your audience is, and when you've got some kind of visual identity and an idea of what you're going to be posting.
Okay, next
question. It's a bit controversial because I know some people will say, you know, get on social media, but my thing is I'm always about readiness. Not everyone's ready for live stream video. Not everyone's ready for social media, and the two are very different tactics.
Absolutely. So the next question I wanted to ask you is this, and again, it's in line with regard to social media. When, you know, let's say now I'm going to now start my social media experience, and I'm pushed towards, you know, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you know, LinkedIn and what have you. Is it a situation that I should start with maybe just one, or is it advisable to kind of, you know, look at maybe maybe more than 1, 2, 3, or 4? I mean, you know, in your expert opinion, what are we looking at in regards to that?
Well, I always say to my clients that I coach, it's always sensible, first of all, to get some social media objectives. So what is it you want to actually achieve from being on social media? Who is it you want to connect with from being on social media? What types of content are you going to share? And where do you feel you might be most best placed? Because sometimes, you know, we don't want to do live stream video. We don't want to necessarily post pictures. We haven't got time to be tweeting, you know, 8 to 10 times a day. So therefore, there are obvious platforms that you would avoid if that's the case. So always start with the social media objective. What are the actual goals of being on social media? And when you've looked at that and when you've thought about where your audience are, you can marry up the two and then decide on, I would say, no more than 2 platforms. If you're just starting out, no more than 2 platforms. And, you know, you can use Facebook and Instagram. The two are integrated. Facebook owns Instagram. And you can couple those with simultaneous posts. So you can post from Instagram straight to Facebook, but take out all the hashtags, or you can post from Facebook to Instagram, depending on how your page is set up. And then you can couple that with something like LinkedIn or TikTok or Snapchat, depending on who your audience is. So I would always say no more than 2 platforms. And I really don't advise people to go onto something like Twitter if they're time poor. If you don't have a lot of time or you can't schedule, then avoid Twitter like the plague, because it requires a lot of oomph and momentum and conversation in order for you to see any real results.
Okay. Okay, so one of the things I want to ask you is this. What are the key mistakes that businesses make when they are, and I'm thinking about 2 or 3 examples that they make in regards to when they're actually getting into business. What are the mistakes that you see in your experience that businesses tend to make time and time again?
Well, one of the mistakes is the same mistake I made even with the £100, and that is to rush in and get a website. Especially in today's climate where a lot of things are accessible online, you don't need a website. I've actually got 2 clients that are doing very well in terms of sales and making, clients and leads come into their business without any kind of website. But they do have a web page. They have web pages. So for example, they've got an Instagram profile, they've got a LinkedIn profile, they've got a Facebook business page, and they've got the shop on the Facebook business page, as an example. So it's about understanding what are your priorities. One of the things I feel that business owners jump into is getting onto every single platform on social media and building a website. And sometimes we also mistakenly spend a lot of money on things like business cards and leaflets that have got dates on them. And these are time-sensitive documents. When you don't have a big budget, it's about working smarter and thinking about, okay, what budget have I got? So I would say one of the biggest mistakes or experiences that we have as business owners is not looking at the resources that are available to us when we start out. And by ignoring the resources that we've got available to us when we start out, we are then missing the opportunity to plan and prepare for what we actually want to do with strategic positioning and strategic planning.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So we're now kind of coming down to now the final furlong. One of the things I wanted to ask you, especially for those who are, the youngsters who, are looking to kind of enter into business, and they have a mind, and particularly someone who maybe wanted to go into, branding, marketing, and what have you. What advice would you give them, to start their journey?
You mean in terms of starting up a business as a branding and marketing?
Indeed.
Or you mean in terms of actually branding and marketing their own business?
No, for someone who actually want to get into branding and marketing.
Okay, so I would say look at what areas of branding or marketing you want to cover. Fortunately for me, I studied and graduated in branding and marketing communications. And I did that, as I said, I graduated back in 2003 as a mature student with a baby in belly. And when I did that, I have fully integrated marketing communications experience. So I don't just cover brand development and building brands. I can also monetize brand, which is what I've got a really good reputation for, and also strategic planning and campaigns. So I've got a reputation for that. When it comes to branding and marketing, as many people know, there are different elements to that. So with branding, there might be brand development, there might be brand design, there might be brand messaging. When it comes to marketing, it might be about video marketing, email marketing, events, PR. There are different aspects to marketing and different aspects to branding. So for someone who wants to get into it, I would definitely say, think about the areas that you want to position yourself. Me personally, I love brand development. I love working with existing business owners or people that have got a brand that needs revamping and actually helping them to revamp their brand. I just literally last week built a website for a very well-known artist, revamped her brand. She's got a fully blown e-commerce site now. She can sell her prints, she can sell her art, and it was done at a very affordable rate for her. And that is very bespoke because that's website. It's website design, it's building the site, it's copywriting for the site, it's making it e-commerce, so shoppable. And when you look at that in itself is a style of marketing. It's website design and building, which falls under branding and design, right? So if someone wants to get into branding or marketing, it's about understanding what aspect of brand and marketing do you want to be in. And then when you know the aspect of brand marketing, you might then look at the industry. right? So it might be that you want to work in the finance industry doing finance marketing, or you want to work with startup marketing, or you want to work with female tech companies as an example, or you want to work with freelancers. So it's about identifying the type of branding and marketing you want to specialize in, and then looking at the industry, sector, or audience type that you actually want to reach. That would be my advice. And then making sure that you walk your talk. So if you're someone that says, I can help you, you know, get sales in your business, or I can revamp your brand and get you visibility, you better be able to do that. And whether it's self-taught or whether you've studied for it like me, right? It doesn't matter. So don't make the qualifications baffle you. It's just about whether or not you can get the results, because ultimately that's all clients care about. And that's what they will pay you for, is the results. So just to answer your question, if you can get the results and you know your niche, or you know where you might want to place yourself at least to start with, and you have an idea of what you want to specialize in, you're good to go.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so some of the last thing I want to ask you is, where can we get a hold of Vee Roberts? Where can we get a hold of insight to marketing?
Well, you can actually get me in your handbag or your desk or your side of your bed by investing in my £19 planner. That's the first thing. I've got to do a dirty plug.
Yeah,
so I have actually self-published the planner. My planner is now in its 4th edition, okay? And it's packed with ideas. There are workbook sections in it where you can actually talk about, or talk to yourself about, how you're going to build your brand, how you're going to manage your budget, your sales targets. There are review sections in there. There are accountability sections in there, and there are over 280, I think, campaign ideas for the entire year. I think even your Glennis, is it Glennis?
Oh yeah, I know Glennis. Yes, yes.
Yeah, she has a planner.
We advertised
fantastic
last year. That's right.
Yes, she did. She gave me, without me even asking, she gave me a fantastic review. So that would be the first way I could say you could access my content and get help, self-help for yourself without needing to spend a fortune. I've also got a YouTube channel, which is Insight to Marketing. There's lots of playlists on there packed with content. When I say packed, you can find information on there on crowdfunding, how to get sponsorship, event planning, exhibition tips, social media tips, Instagram tips. It's all there. Even marketing planning is all on the Insight to Marketing YouTube page. And then of course I'm live every Wednesday, 12:15 p.m. most Wednesdays on the Insight to Marketing Instagram page. And I've got my email list as well. So there's lots of different ways. I'm very friendly, very accessible, even though sometimes my face might look a little bit push up. I'm actually a very nice lady, and I'm always willing to help. Even if you don't have money, I'm willing to divert you to a video of mine or something that I know will help you to build your business. I just need to know you're serious and that you want to take action. I don't like wishy-washy, and I've made that very clear in the last 4 years. Come to me when you're ready. Even if you don't have money, let's talk. I will help you, but you have to be ready to actually implement anything that I give you.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Vee, I'm going to ask you the money mob question, and this is it. Vee, if you were given one wish in regards to the Black community, what would that one wish be?
Well, the first one has got to be, if I'm going to combine it into one cleverly, right, it would be to unify and strengthen our community by encouraging cross-working that's based on trust, right? That's one thing, all one sentence, right? To unify and strengthen our community and also our economy by actually encouraging cross-working that's based on trust. Because I genuinely feel that there's so many good Black businesses out there and we don't trust one another enough. The amount of clients I have coming to me saying they've been ripped off, or this person or that person hasn't delivered what they said, or this person collaborated, it just gets political. And I think a lot of us need to be, I mean, I can speak for myself, I'm definitely doing this, but as business owners who are more established, we do need to be, handing out the free tips a lot more, because there are people who are very much like I was, starting on a zero or very low budget. And then you've got, big gurus that are charging like £6,000 for an hour, right? Which doesn't help. So we have to be more realistic. We have to be more willing to help. And also the cross-working thing, it has to unify us more, because I think as a people, we've got so much potential. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people clashing or not trusting or not wanting to explore ideas because they're fearful of, you know, he or she's going to take my ideas, and it just gets all political. And I would love to see that removed. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I believe that in time it will. Certainly with the good work that you're doing at Moneybob with the team as well, I can see it's going to happen soon. Change is going to come soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Vee, as I knew it would be, I'm blown away. It was fantastic. You left me feeling really that I've had a very, very, very good interview, and I wish you all the best. I know we ain't going to be a stranger, and hopefully one of these days soon, down the line, it'll be good to get you back on the podcast, or even on or even on some radio program or something like that. You know, down in the future. All right.
Yeah, and anyone that's watching, if they want to connect with me, you can actually email me at v@insight2marketing.com. All right, v@insight2marketing.com. And if you put Money Mob in the subject line, I'll look after you.
Fantastic. See, that's what I'm talking about. So again, for those of you that are watching this, as I said, and I will advise you to watch this, because what we heard today is some fantastic jewels that Vee has actually has dropped this evening. So make sure you like, you comment, and you importantly subscribe to the channel, and help us in helping you to really see, you know, a better future. And with that, I'm going to sign out. So this is Paul from the Money Mob signing out. And remember, the Money Mob is here to help you. So support Black business, support the Money Mob, because it is indeed the future of Black economics. Good night.